the top of the heap. Probably the most famous car in the history of General Motors, if not the United States. This is the 1938 Buick Y Job. This car is famous because it was the very first concept car.
Well, here we have a new Tootsietoy to look at. It's in decent shape. It's got some nicks and bumps, and it's been painted a few times. As you can see there, it was white. As I was digging around on this and taking off layers of paint, I found red, and I found yellow, and I found blue as well. Not only on the car, but on the wheels as well. So here we are. It's a 1938, as you could see in the introduction, 1938 concept Roadster Y, and it's, like I said, it's in okay shape. There's a hunk out of the side there, and you got paint on the tires, and it's a little bit dirty, and heaven knows it's probably been in, I don't know, buried in someone's backyard or stuck away in a closet or something like this. But we're going to bring it back to life. The first thing we do is we take off the axles or the wheels, the tires. And it's a fiddly little process, but if you take your time and just pry those nails out. There's just nails, like plain old nails that hold them together. I think this toy was made in the 1940s. It's the 1938 Roadster, but I think it was made about 10 years later. It's about 1948 that this came out. And all they were doing is hammering normal nails into a tube, and that's what held the tires on. So we're going to get the big stuff off. Take a wire brush here. Maybe I can get some of the paint off. Maybe, maybe not. What will definitely get the paint off is paint stripper. So we're gonna liberally apply that to the car. And this needs to sit for, a couple of hours. But we're gonna speed that process up. Or at least I thought we were. I thought I was going to pull it out here pretty quickly. Here we go. This is going to get most of the paint off, but there's still bits and pieces and a nice wire brush and some steel wool. We'll make it look good and put the finishing touches on it. And this dental tool is really handy just to get those little nooks and crannies that you can't really get at very well. Like here, the floorboard. I spent quite a lot of time cleaning this floorboard, and a lot of stuff got stuck down in there. And you see all the colors that, I don't know, the grandkids painted this over the many years of playing with it. Tires, I thought maybe I could take the wire brush and kind of crack this stuff off of the tires, but no way. So I just grabbed a Sharpie. You can do this. You can spray these wheels, but I just grabbed a Sharpie, and I had some of these protective gloves on anyway, so I wasn't going to get it on my hands, and just took the time to blacken it up, make it look nice. These wheels are not in perfect condition, but they're good enough, and because they're Tootsietoy wheels, they're going to mainly be hidden by the body. And they look a lot better already. Now I'm going to take this damaged area. You never know if it's just bad casting from Tootsietoy. Tootsietoy has pretty notoriously bad casting, although they do get some good details in their casting. So it's kind of weird. Their casting is very often kind of off, but they also have pretty much detail. And And then they go, and their own painting on these things is just slapdash kind of psh, psh, spray paint, and there you go. So it's it's kind of weird, but I do like the detail. Sometimes it deceives me and plays into my weakness of putting a little bit too much detail on these cars. But here I'm trying to fix that missing piece, and I'm just taking some milliput epoxy and squishing it together, and sort of recreating it there. And as you can see, I found some other areas that some dents and things where it needed to be taken care of. Now here, you got to sand it down just like if you had a normal car. But I'm making a sanding block from a little piece of wood there. Put a little bit of glue on that makeshift sanding block. Put some 400 grip sandpaper on there. Let it dry, I don't know, 15 seconds. And then I can get at it and make it nice and flat, and flatten out all those imperfections. And make it look pretty good. And this takes maybe longer than you think it would. And I had to go over it a couple of times. So I had to put another piece of sandpaper on there to get it just right. But doing these things and sanding and filling in and sanding over those imperfections, it makes a lot of difference. Okay, so now we've gone some kind of transition here. We're going to put some primer on it. Just some white primer. I just put one coat. Probably thick enough. Probably enough. I think it's enough. Okay, good. So we'll just leave that just like it is there. This is my opportunity to tape off the bumpers and things like that. You can go ahead and paint the whole thing and then, paint on top of it and put your chrome on top of the paint. But it's not quite as good. So here I'm actually just putting the tape down, cutting the tape to where I think it kind of matches. Sorry, I'm a little off the screen there. And putting the tape down, and it's fiddly work, but it doesn't take too long. This is sped up about, I don't know, 500%. So, how long does it take? I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to cut these things out and press it on. And then you've got the front grille, front bumper, the back bumper. All these things are going to be covered in chrome. And also the windows and the seats. And it's really worth it. Okay, so there we go with a dark blue. The car in Jay Leno's garage, that was black. I didn't want to do black again. And I had some idea that I might want to put those kind of chrome stripes on the side. And you can't do it with a pen. And you would have to do it with a very fine brush. And I just couldn't do it. And it's a Tootsietoy, which never had even as much detail as I'm going to put on it. So I left it. I just didn't have the courage to do that, to go that far. But here we are. We're going to put a nice chrome hood on it there, and the door handles and the front emblem. Now that license plate on the back that you might have seen there, that's also going to that's going to be white. I'm going to make that white. Now, if you remember from the video, the headlights actually don't show. They're covered up. And so I'm just going to leave them just like they are here, covered up. And I'm going to put some chrome pens here which I'm not really satisfied. They work better when you apply that chrome with a brush. Here I am, you know, this is the problem. I don't do this enough, so I'm starting at the wrong end, trying to get this tape up and just not paying attention. If I did this more often, I wouldn't make these mistakes. So here's this beautiful thing. You can see the chrome on the side there. I'm just not going to paint that on. It's just way too much for me. And the white walls would be cool to put on there. But again, it's way too much for the Tootsietoy. And this is an experimental car. This is the Y concept, 1938 Roadster. And the Y. Why the Y? Well, why not X for experimental? Well, all the car companies were doing that. And Earl, what's his name? He liked airplanes, and the experimental designation for airplanes was a Y. Now, I'm not going to be able to get Buick Y onto that back license plate section, but hopefully I will get the Y on there. See if we can do it. So I'm going to practice a little bit here with a pen. See, can I get it small enough to squeeze it on there? I think I can. So I'm just going to, not really writing it on there, almost sort of tapping it on. I think it turned out okay. See some more close-ups there at the end. So I pull off the windows, and I'm not going to leave them white, so I'm going to put just some silver there. It's a detail or two too far for real Tootsietoy, but I kind of like to make them a little bit better. A real Tootsietoy purist might frown at this. Nice little brush, a little bit long-haired, but you can sharpen it down to a pretty nice point and get in some nooks and crannies. And here again, you know, I just don't do this enough. I'm not paying attention. I didn't stir the paint enough. So as I was painting this one side, you know, it was shinier than the other because it was mixed better when I took it off of that toothpick. Those are just the dumb little things you do. So I had to come back and do this again and give it another coat. And I think it makes it look better anyway, but just silly little mistakes like that. And just a little bit of touch up on the windows. Also found that I had overpainted a little bit, so I got to get some of the blue and just take care of just little dots and things here and there. Nothing really big. So I just took that little plastic cup you saw there and just sprayed some of the spray paint in there and used that. There it is again. And now we're going to put the wheels back. This is always a little bit challenging. I'm always, you know, one clumsy move away from putting a huge scratch down the side of it, especially with these pliers. And you got to get the wheels and the axle in between the wheels, and then the two nails in there, and then you can put those pliers, it's kind of plumber's pliers, on the heads of both nails. And if you're careful, you can just squeeze it down. I'm going to do it here. You can just squeeze it down, and it works fine. It works fine. Of course, these nails I did sand them a little bit, and I put some WD-40 on there. That might make it a little bit easier. But there you go. It went okay, and no scratches. And I put a little bit of chrome on those nail heads. Get it ready to show you here. And this is where we started, if you remember. And it's okay. I mean, structurally, it only had that one area, and sometimes I do ones. I like to do them when they're damaged, even more damaged than this. My favorite ones are damaged ones. And this one was just beaten up and grotty, not really damaged. And here it is now. You see the Y on the back. I think that turned out okay. The bumpers. The chrome didn't come out like I like it. The chrome came out more silver. Not this shiny chrome. Some parts of it are chromy and some parts aren't. So I'm not really happy with that. And so I get to give you another angle here. So you can see you can see the floorboard and you can see the seats. It turned out to be a little more plain than I maybe expected after seeing Jay Leno's video, but it's a handsome car. It's a handsome car. It would have been great to drive this thing back in the day, or even today. This Y Concept, 1938 Y Concept car from Buick, brought to life by Tootsietoy in about 1947, 1948. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time.